Donald Trump unhinged over over Arizona vote claims, says GOP election official. This is a Newsweek article. A Republican election official has called former Donald Trump unhinged over his repeated claims about how, Maricopa County Recorder Stephen Richer leads the election department that has been targeted by a GOP audit of the presidential election. Previous audits in the county confirmed Biden's victory. So, from Trump's perspective, the previous audits were not nearly as thorough enough. 1 to 2% of ballots, and not all the cyber or digital hardware was checked from Trump's perspective. Anyway, the Republican who became recorder in January has urged fellow Republicans to call out the accusations of election issues after Trump issued a statement accusing Maricopa County of deleting an election database. Quote, "Wow, this is unhinged. I'm literally looking at our voter registration database on my other screen right now," he wrote on Twitter. "We can't indulge these insane lies any longer as a party, as a state, as a country." So, from Trump's perspective, or from the Republican perspective in Arizona, they don't know if this man was looking at his screen. Simply him saying that he's looking at his screen and Trump is lying is not evidence. Likewise, simply President Trump saying that a database has been deleted isn't evidence. What Republicans need to do is immediately back up the claim. There have been Republicans who have made the allegation in addition to President Trump, but there needs to immediately be, evidence in the form of, hey, we were promised this database. We only got a certain portion of the database. We didn't get all of it. It seems that a certain part of it has been deleted. Here's the evidence that we have. Here's what we should have acquired or been given based on what 2 judges have enabled us to do. Trump and Republicans in Arizona went through the state legislature and the court system. Again, they went through the state legislature and the court system. That's democracy. That is the rule of law. They didn't just decide to go ahead and acquire information on, last year and just, obtain voting records simply because they, chose to break the law. They went through the state legislature and they were given the right to do so by 2 different judges. The prior recounts or audits did not meet the Republican standard. Now, it's important, hit subscribe right now to this channel because I'm going to give you some context from the Republican perspective or from Trump Republican perspective or from President Trump's perspective. And also from the perspective of somebody who used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. People who went from Bernie Sanders to Trump were, I don't want to say traumatized, but were affected, like myself, by 2016 and what happened to a candidate who eventually turned out to be a tool of the Democratic Party. Bernie Sanders, he was completely railroaded by the DNC. They then blamed Russia for 4 years. They cheated their own candidate. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign in disgrace. They never owned up to it. They blamed Russia for 4 years for their election loss. They blamed Russia. They accused Trump of working with Russia. They didn't have a shred of evidence. No American was indicted on working alongside Russian intelligence officials. Nobody in Trump's campaign. The Mueller probe found the evidence was, quote, insufficient, meaning there was no evidence. Well, what about their contacts? What about this and that? Well, nobody was indicted. What about the 18 Russian intelligence officials? Yeah, that was the third-party tech firm. See, Democrats like CrowdStrike, but not cyber ninjas. So the Republican third-party tech firm is the ninjas, cyber ninjas in Arizona. These tech firms have the best names. And there's CrowdStrike that the DNC hired. The DNC would not let anyone in the United States government look at their servers. Gee, I wonder why. Almost certainly because of donor information, and other issues. But you're talking about a political party that has cheated its own candidate, and a political party that blamed Russia for 4 years for their failures, and called Trump illegitimate from the very beginning. Never gave him a moment's rest. Said that he shouldn't even have been in the Oval Office because Putin installed him. And then they demand trust. And then the rebuttal is, well, the intelligence community said so. Yes, so? So what? It wasn't the intelligence community. It was only 3 agencies. And of those three agencies, 2 were headed by Brennan, Comey, and then Clapper was the ODNI chief. All of them appeared on MSNBC and CNN, the Washington Post, and New York Times gave them fantastic write-ups, and it's a public relations monstrosity. They used a dossier purchased by Clinton. And so, why am I going into all of this? A third-party tech firm that under oath stated they didn't have direct evidence. Dianne Feinstein stated she didn't have direct evidence. Adam Schiff stated he didn't have direct evidence. Nobody had direct evidence. One day, Adam Schiff was very proud of himself. He said he had something in between circumstantial and direct. Okay? And no allegation against Trump was viewed as baseless. It was always officials say, officials with knowledge say, or it was an Atlantic article saying, well, we have a source that said he disparaged fallen Americans, which couldn't be further from the truth, and it was a complete lie. He's the one who on May 1st, 2021, negotiated a deal for that day to get us out of our longest-running military conflict, to get us out of Afghanistan. And Biden is keeping us there for indefinitely, in addition to all the other things, all the other controversies and failures within just the past 5 months in Biden's administration. The template is call somebody unhinged. Say that he's lost his mind. Ad hominem statements, accusations, disparage the messenger. Ad hominem attacks, go after the messenger, say that Trump is unhinged, say that that anyone who agrees with this is making a mockery of democracy, as they've spent 4 years. It's just like with the 6th of January, which is a tremendous, horrendous thing. Like, it was horrendous, the 6th of January. Democrats were silent and, in many ways, complicit for 4 months. $1 to $2 billion in property damage. 19 lives lost. And you have $1 to $2 billion in property damage, thousands upon thousands of arrests, and then suddenly Democrats cared about, oh my goodness, look at the chaos. It's like, you blamed Russia for 4 years, you never conceded, ever, and you hide behind corrupt intelligence officials who literally texted, "We'll stop Trump." You stood by as there was chaos on the streets for months and months, and you said, it was a reckoning. Yeah, it was a reckoning. Biden wrote the crime bill. My God. And he's made statements worse than anything President Trump said. But see, again, Kavanaugh believe, Biden don't believe. You're talking about a great many hypocrites. The definition of hypocrisy. The definition of hypocrisy should just be, picture the apoplectic liberal. A picture of an apoplectic, morally superior liberal, right? It just shouldn't even say any words. It should be a picture of an apoplectic, morally superior liberal. Hypocrisy. That's it, that picture. Ladies and gentlemen, Republicans in Arizona need to provide evidence that databases or a database or part of a database was deleted. Simply saying it's not there is not enough. And this is a problem and a little pitfall that President Trump got into 5-6 months ago. They need to provide evidence immediately.